Recording in progress.
Good afternoon to one and all. This is Mr. C.H. Ajay Kumar, working as an associate professor at A.M. Reddy Memorial College of Pharmacy, Narsropeta, Guntur district, Andhra Pradesh. Today, we are going to discuss a most important topic in the subject of quality assurance, which is coming in the sixth semester of a new pattern of PCI 2016 regulation in the subject of quality assurance. So here today we are going to discuss about a points such as quality control test for the containers, rubber closures, secondary packaging materials, and good laboratory practices in this unit 3. So dear students, there is a much more importance for the quality control test of different substances in the pharmaceutical industries. So in such a cases, the quality control test for the packaging materials also plays a vital role in determining the stability of the pharmaceutical products. So coming to the introduction of this quality control, along with the safety and efficacy, quality is one of the best and most important parameter to assess the fitness of medicinal product for use by the patient. Coming to the definition of quality control, the World Health Organization defines the term quality control as sum of all the features, procedures undertaken to ensure the identity and purity of a particular pharmaceutical. So, such procedures may range from the primary assessments of various physical and chemical characteristics of different substances in the pharmaceutical substances, such as knowing about the color, the odor, the taste, the smell, and even the basic elements of a particular product, that is the pH, the solubility, miscibility, all these chemical identifications and screening for the presence of particular pharmaceutical substances with the help of the thin layer chromatography and more complicated requirements of pharmacopoeial monographs. So, what's the Schedule M is explaining us about this quality control. Schedule M of Indian Drugs and Cosmetics Act and rules defines a quality control system as follows. The quality control shall be concerned with the performing the sampling, specifications, testing, documentation, release procedures, which ensures that the necessary and relevant tests are actually carried and that the materials are not released for use nor products released for the sale or supply until their quality has been judged to be satisfactory. So it is not conformed to the laboratory operations but also shall be involved in all the decisions confined with the quality of the product. So it shall be ensured that all quality control arrangements are effectively and reliably carried out at all the departments as a whole shall have other duties such as to establish, evaluate, validate, and implement all quality control procedures and methods. So here we are going to know about the parameters that has to be tested for the packaging materials. Before going into the parameters that has to be tested, we should know what is meant by a primary packaging material and secondary packaging material. The packaging material, which are going to be direct contact with the pharmaceutical product, that is said to be primary packaging material. And the material which is used to pack the primary packaging materials are said to be secondary packaging materials. As these packaging materials are going to influence the stability of the product, they automatically, eventually, we need to go for the quality control testing of the pharmaceutical packaging materials. So packaging materials are tested. What for we have to test? For their appearance, for the dimensions, for the compatibility with the product, for the compatibility for the packaging and the chemical composition of various packaging materials and how the customers are satisfied with their usability criteria. Tests are performed to check the suitability of material of primary packaging and final packing in secondary packaging. So, for the primary packaging materials, we have to go for chemical tests, mechanical tests, and environmental tests. And coming to the secondary packaging materials, as the secondary packaging materials are used for the packing of the primary packaging, we have to go for mechanical tests of the substances or the materials used for the secondary packaging materials. And also we have to go for environmental tests. Obviously, any material when it is exposed to the environment, it may lose its stiffness, it may lose its uh, mechanical strength. So we have to go for environmental test, how the material is behaving according to the changes in the environment. So here are some of the important chemical tests for the containers, nothing but the primary packaging materials. The examples are the glass containers. We are going to know about the tests for various glass containers. First one is water attack test. Second one is a hydrolytic resistance test, powdered glass test, light transmission test, arsenic test, internal bursting pressure test, thermal shock test, annealing test, vertical load test, autoclaving. So coming to the ampule sealing test, we are going to know about the ampules, appearance of the ampule, quality of the seal, how we have sealed the ampule, and sealed ampule length and headspace, oxygen. And here are a few more examples for the primary packaging materials, such as the plastic. So we are going for physicochemical test on aqueous extracts, heavy metals test, non-volatile residues, biological in vivo test, hemolytic effect of aqueous extracts, acute systemic toxicity, rubber closure testings, self-sealability test, and fragmentation test. These are the tests that has to be performed for rubber materials. And even we are going to use some of the tubes. So here we have mentioned the collapsible tubes, which we are going to squeeze or we are going to crush for delivering the pharmaceutical products. So here we have to perform the Lake's test, liquor compatibility test, liquor curing test for these collapsible tubes. We are using the strips for the tablets, capsules, like so. So strip and blister packaging test, that is the leakage test. So finally, we are going to use the paper and board test, which are nothing but here we are visualizing the paper and cardboards, which are used as in secondary packaging materials. For those, paper and board density, what is the moisture content, what is the air permeability, folding endurance, grammage, tear strength, tensile strength, burst strength, puncture resistance, Cope test for water absorbance, crushability, stiffness, rubber resistance, ink absorbance, brightness, roughness, smoothness. Tests on the cartons are also available. That is a compression of the cartons, coefficient of the friction, that is to be tested during the transportation. Carton opening force. What is the force that has to be applied in order to open the cartons and increase stiffness, joint shear strength? These are all the various tests that has to be performed for secondary packaging materials. So here comes the different types of the glass containers which we are using in the pharmaceutical industries. Type of the glass, general description, types of the test that has to be performed, and what is the general use. So here we have classified the glass materials, types of the glasses into four different types: type 1, type 2, type 3, and type 4. Type 1 is described as highly resistant borosilicate glass, which we have to perform the powdered glass test. And general use of buffered and unbuffered aqueous solutions can be packed in such a kind of type 1 glass materials. And in type 2 glass materials, we are calling them as treated soda lime glass. We have to perform water attack test. In those type 2 treated soda lime glasses, we are using the buffer aqueous solutions with pH below 7.0, dry powder, polygenous solutions. Type 3 soda lime glass, we have to perform the powdered glass test, dry powders, polygenous solutions. Type 4 general purpose soda lime glass, powdered glass, not for parenteral oral solutions. This is for the tablets, suspensions, ointments, and external liquids. So let us now discuss in detail about various tests on the glass containers as per Indian pharmacopoeia. First and foremost, we are going to discuss about chemical resistance of glass containers. First one is powdered glass test. It is done to estimate the amount of alkali leached from the powdered glass, which usually happens at the elevated temperatures. When the glass is powdered, leaching of alkali is enhanced, which can be titrated with zero point 0.2 normal sulfuric acid using methyl as an indicator. So let us know in detail about this powdered glass test. What is the need of performing this powdered glass test? Simply to estimate the alkaline leaching. What is meant by leaching? Leaching is nothing but a kind of detachment of the alkaline material from the surface of the glass in the form of the powder, which eventually they are going to come into contact with the pharmaceutical products, which usually happens at elevated temperatures. So when the glass is powdered, the leaching of alkali is also enhanced, which can be estimated as we are talking that leaching of the alkali substances. Eventually, we can go for estimation of this alkali by the help of the acids. So, what kind of acids we are going to take? We are going to take simply the zero point zero 0.02 normal sulfuric acid, and finally, we are going to determine the endpoint by the help of methyl red as an indicator. So, how we are going to prepare the specimen of the glass? Few containers. Let us assume we can take 10 glass vials, and we have to rinse thoroughly with the purified water and dried with the stream of clean air, and grind the containers in a mortar with the help of the pestle to a fine powder and pass through sieve number 20 and 50. Step 2 is washing the specimen. 10 grams of above specimen is taken into 250 ml of conical flask. Wash it with 30 ml of acetone. Repeat the washing. Decant the acetone and dried, after which it is used within 48 hours. How the procedure? So whatever the sample that has been obtained by this extraction procedure, 10 grams of the sample is added with the 50 ml of high purity water into 50 ml of conical flask. So automatically this conical flask has to be autoclaved. What is the need of autoclaving at 121 degrees centigrade to plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes? We have already discussed that leaching is enhanced at higher temperatures. So place the sample which is taken in the 250 ml of conical flask, which is mixed with 50 ml of high purity water in an autoclave at 121 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes and cool it under running water. So decant the solution into another flask or filter the solution into another flask. Wash again the extract with the 15 ml of high purity water and again go for decant. Nothing but the filtration. Titrate the final solution with a zero point zero 0.02 normal sulfuric acid using methyl as an indicator and they record the volume. So see here, we are going to perform the same kind of a powdered glass test for type 1, type 2, type 3 glass materials, where the type 1 should give the endpoint at 1.0 ml. If it is exceeding more than 1 ml for the consuming of H2SO4 for indicating the endpoint, automatically there is a much more leaching effect. This is said to be a quality control test per type 1 glass material has been failed, and those glass materials should not be used as an primary packaging materials. Type 2 glass containers, it takes or it consumes 8.5 ml of acid. Type 3 materials consumes 15.0 ml, that is 15 ml of sulfuric acid in order to give the endpoint. So what is the speciality of the type 2? For this type 2 type of glass materials, we are going to take treated soda lime glass. That is, we are going to perform water attack test. These type of treated soda lime glass materials are used for buffered aqueous solutions with pH below 7.0, dry powders, homogeneous solutions. So how this water attack test is going to be performed, we'll look into it. This is only for treated soda lime glass containers. So here we have seen this is only for water attack test is specifically for treated soda lime glass materials. How we are going to perform. This is only for treated soda lime glass containers under the controlled humidity conditions which neutralize the surface alkali and glass will come chemically more resistance or will become more resistance chemically. So the principle involved is whether the alkali leached or not from the surface of the container. So same principle for powdered glass test is employed here in case of water attack test even. Procedure: rinse thoroughly with high purity water. Fill each container to 90% of its overflow capacity. That means, for example, if you are taking 100 ml capacity of the glass container or the vial, you have to fill the container up to 90%. That means 90 ml. And it is autoclaved at 121 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes, then it is cooled. What we have seen the same procedure in for the powdered glass test. When the liquid is decanted, which is titrated against 0.02 normal sulfuric acid using methyl red as an indicator. So the volume of sulfuric acid consumed is the measure of amount of alkaline oxides present in the glass container. So what are the limits for this type 2 glass materials for the consumption of sulfuric acid in order to give its endpoint 0.7 ml, 0.2 ml. So this is based upon the capacity of the glass vial that you have taken. And the remaining glass tests and the quality control tests for various packaging materials will be discussed in the next session. Thank you.